I'm Abel, I'm director at Cabeza Patata.
My name is Katie and I'm co-director at Cabeza Patata Studio, where we make characters in every single format you can imagine.
Hello, I'm Nicolas Castell. I've been working in the world of illustration and comics for the past 11 years. To mention some of my clients, we can name Dupuy, Sunday Times, Washington Post, Mercedes-Benz, Adobe, Shiseido, Grupo SM, or Rey Naranjo Editores.
My name is Brad, and I'm a graphic designer and illustrator, and what I do primarily is I review technology for creative professionals on YouTube.
Hi, my name is Teoh, and I'm an artist, graphic designer, and urban sketcher who enjoys sketching out on location. In fact, right now I'm actually looking for places to draw. So I'm a self-taught artist. I learn all my art techniques from books and tutorials that I found online. I use a variety of tools such as watercolor, tablets, pen tablets, and pen displays. The tools that I use are determined by the type of work that I create. So if I'm out on location, I will be using watercolor or tablets because they are portable. But when I'm back at home or in the office, I will be using a pen tablet. You know, those tablets without any screens. I don't use pen displays because unfortunately my table at home is just too small for a big pen display.
I'm Jazza. I'm an artist, animator, YouTuber, and a beef jerky connoisseur.
Me llamo Paulina Palacios, yo soy ilustradora, diseñadora gráfica y autora de cómics chilena. Mis obras son Maestro Gato, Cirila y Abdel y Mientras Yugo duerme.
Pues me llamo Guillermo, tengo 22 años y mi pasión es el mundo del arte conceptual y la ilustración, al cual me llevo dedicando desde hace ya bastante tiempo. Me gusta todo el tema relacionado con el mundo de los videojuegos, películas, juegos de mesa, y me gusta tanto ilustrar como personajes, escenarios, criaturas, props, cualquier tema que esté relacionado con el mundo de los videojuegos. La verdad que me apasiona bastante.
Hola, mi nombre es Benavides, acá Voyager Illustration, y en estos momentos estoy trabajando con mi Huion Canvas Pro 16. Soy un ilustrador digital con 8 años de experiencia ya en el medio. He trabajado con empresas como Magic the Gathering, Adobe, League of Legends y Chill Beats, entre otros. Y me dedico principalmente a la dirección de arte, la ilustración de portadas, la ilustración de escenarios, y para eso en estos momentos estoy utilizando esta tableta.
My name is Wenjia Tang. I am a freelance illustrator currently based in Nanjing, China. I do mostly editorial illustrations and have been published a few picture books in the past few years.
Huion is a very nice brand that we've been collaborating with for the last few years. They produce very high quality graphics tablets that are really useful for artists.
We've been working with Huion for the last 2 or 3 years as our main graphics tablet in our studio, and we love them. They're really great quality products and there's so much variation within them. We have the ones that you can transport around. We also have the larger tablets to work at the table, and they're super useful in our day-to-day work.
Huion offers a great service to the artist community. We need high responsive devices that work with accuracy both in colors and line performance. This is the only way to stay competitive in a market where you have to deliver quality work within short time deadlines. With Huion's technology, one can finish the work faster and with precision in the color scheme. Not only that, the prices are competitive. With a considerable investment, an illustrator can start his endeavor as a digital artist entrepreneur.
Huion have sponsored my videos and worked with me for longer than any partner that I've had the opportunity to work with. And as a result, not only have I been lucky enough to promote really high quality products, but I've also seen how those products have evolved over the course of more than 5 years. And every time I get a new device, I'm like, okay, like I'm learning it's got these new features, it supports Android connectivity, it's got like how much more pressure sensitivity, like every new version is more affordable and better, like designed. The experience just keeps getting better and better.
Comencé a probar las tabletas de Huion el año pasado. La verdad es que me impresionaron mucho. He probado 3 hasta el momento, una sin pantalla y 2 con pantalla. Y la verdad es que me gustaron harto porque el trazo se siente muy natural. sobre todo las que tienen pantalla, se siente como si dibujaras en papel y eso me gusta mucho. Es un producto que recomiendo harto y que tiene distintas variedades de precio igual. Y distintas opciones también de tabletas de distintos tamaños para todo tipo de gustos.
¿Su opinión sobre Huion?
Huion es el principal medio gráfico con el que llevo trabajando desde que empecé las artes digitales. Mi primer modelo fue una GT 190 y es con lo que he estado trabajando hasta ahora. Y es con lo que he realizado todo mi portfolio hasta la fecha actual.
Huion siempre me ha parecido una marca que tiene un balance muy bueno entre lo que son los precios y la buena calidad de sus productos.
I think Huion is on my top list of brands that are producing super high quality and also really affordable pen displays.
On our new Canvas 24 Plus, the colour accuracy has improved so much, so it's fantastic for our day-to-day work in 3D.
So the more quality we get with tablets, and they get better with every iteration, means that we can get faster to where we want and we can focus on the important part, which is the artistic side of things.
I live in Granada, the south of Spain. We are lucky to have sunny days during the most part of the year. Without an anti-glare lamination technology, I need to shut down the curtains to avoid the feeling of drawing on a mirror. But with this feature, I can enjoy creating and the sunlight as well.
Huion has introduced a single cable connection in their graphic display since the Canvas 13. How does this technology bring convenience to your daily work? You see this? This is a dongle. It's got a USB Type-C connection. How it's affected me is I don't have to use this anymore. I'm lucky that I get a lot of computers into review, and most of the computers that have come out in the last few years all have USB Type-C connections in them. So only having that one cable is just a huge convenience.
I've been using Huion products for many years, and the company also sends me some products for testing. I still remember the first few pen displays. They have this generic looking design that's very similar to pen displays made by other companies. But over the years, Huion has actually improved a lot on their products. I still remember the first few reviews that I wrote. There is this long list of pros and cons, with a lot of cons, but over the years the cons or the downsides, they become shorter and shorter, and nowadays the products that you get from Huion, they are so much better. The PenTech 3 that they introduced recently, that's really good because the pressure sensitivity of the pen is now fantastic. More specifically, the pen can detect minimal pressure changes when you are drawing with minimal pressure. The new pen also features a tip which no longer moves. You know those pens where you draw and the tip will go in and out? Well, this new pen, the tip is firm, stable, and it doesn't move. So the overall drawing experience is actually better.
Very, very cool that you can have a tablet that is on its own, you can produce high quality and professional stuff. But the fact that you could be on a train and plug this in and just have your phone on you, have something that you can plug in while you're traveling, or have some ideas you want to jot down, and even on their higher end display tablet devices, be able to work in almost like a desktop flow is just incredible.
Bueno, yo me fijo mucho en el tema de la resolución de las pantallas de las tabletas gráficas, monitores, porque voy a estar muchas horas trabajando ahí frente a esa pantalla, así que para mí es bien importante el tema de la resolución. Hasta ahora la resolución de esta tableta, que es la Canvas 16, Pro 16, 2.5, me ha gustado harto porque se ve súper bien, los colores también se ven bien. La verdad es que no lo he probado tanto, he hecho solo algunos bocetos, pero así a la rápida, como prueba rápida, me ha parecido muy buena en cuanto a la pantalla, a la imagen, cómo se ve, el dibujo. Y en cuanto al trazo también, como dije antes, se siente muy natural y es como dibujar en un papel. Me gustó harto, la verdad.
¿Qué opinas sobre la Canvas 22 Plus?
He notado una diferencia bastante significativa con respecto a la tableta anterior que he tenido hasta ahora. La tecnología de los puntos cuánticos, la verdad que es un gran avance dentro del mundo de las tabletas digitales, debido a que pues tiene una mayor resolución y una mayor precisión a la hora de realizar trazos, líneas rectas en Photoshop. No se produce ningún tipo de vibración ni de desperfecto a la hora de dibujar. La verdad que estoy bastante contento con la nueva tableta digital.
Y esta Canvas Pro 16 tiene unas nuevas herramientas súper buenas, de las cuales la verdad me han optimizado mucho mi flujo de trabajo. Como por ejemplo poder usarla como una tableta casual en la cual yo puedo trabajar aquí en mi pantalla mientras dibujo en ella, o la puedo trabajar aquí directamente desde la pantalla. Además de que sus puntos de presión cuánticos se sienten demasiado bien, se siente muy fluido el trazo y se siente muy cómodo. Además de que este cambio de poder ver ahí arriba en las pantallas o abajo es mucho más ergonómico para el cuerpo cuando pasamos tantas horas dibujando.
I've been using Huion's Canvas 12 for over a year now and has been really satisfied using it. It's also the first Huion's product that I tried. Sometimes I just don't want to work at home, and I thought it would be really great to have a portable product, and Canvas 12 with a 12-inch display is like the perfect size for me. It's been so convenient using it because it only needs one USB-C to USB-C cable to connect to my MacBook, and the laptop itself will just give it enough power to use. It can even use the cable to connect to an Android device, so it will be even more convenient if you just have an Android phone. Despite the small size, the performance still stays on top level. The color is vibrant, and for the stylus, it uses Huion's newest technology, Pentax 3.0, which has a faster response and better accuracy.
Oh, 3 words to describe our art, I would say, are playful, important, and inspiring.
If I have to choose 3 words, I will say dreamy, colorful, and dynamic.
Give us 3 words that describe your art. Cartoony, whimsical, and nostalgic.
My art is always different. Over the 10 years that I've done art on YouTube, there are very few videos I've repeated the concepts for.
3 palabras que describan tus artes.
Las 3 palabras principales que mejor podrían describir todo el trabajo que hago a la hora de ilustrar y crear cosas serían creatividad. Digamos que la creatividad es el crear nuevos personajes, escenarios, criaturas nunca antes vistos. La siguiente palabra diría que sería narrativa, es decir, el poder contar historias a través de la ilustración. Y la última palabra sería color, el utilizar o hacer uso de paletas de color adecuadas para poder transmitir sensaciones, poder dar diferentes aires a los dibujos y demás.
I think to use 3 words to describe my art, they would be quiet, exquisite, and textured.
My career in art started with me studying media, and it continued through learning how to do video editing. From video editing I moved to motion graphics, and from motion graphics I moved to character design. So I've been jumping and moving throughout every single position that you can imagine, and that gave me a very broad vision of it all.
How did I start my art career? I studied design in school, and when I got out, I worked at an agency, and I was always looking for reasons to take illustration and combine it with my design work. Sometimes that was the background of a website, other times it was coming up with cool icons that we could use on our web pages, but I was always trying to sneak it in.
I finished high school and I realized like I was doing a lot of this stuff. I was animating and making games, and I just sort of figured, look, if I'm figuring out how to do this for a living, what's the point of going to university to get a piece of paper that tells a potential employer that I can do what I can do, when actually I could just do it, find a way to make it work and make a career out of it.
¿Cómo empezó su carrera artística?
Mi carrera artística empezó desde bastante temprana edad, podríamos decir, pero principalmente surgió como una pasión por el mundo de los videojuegos. Ciertas sagas, como bien es la saga de Zelda, es una de las principales inspiraciones que he recibido a la hora de crear nuevos tipos de contenidos, y podríamos decir que la capacidad de poder crear e ilustrar mis propios mundos, todo lo que se pasa por mi cabeza, es la principal motivación que tengo a la hora de crear y dibujar y hacer nuevos proyectos.
I started my career as a freelance illustrator right after I graduated from college in 2017. Illustration has always been a passion since high school, so I just chose to stick to it, and I feel like I'm really lucky that I'm always doing things that I love and even be able to make a living out of it.
At the moment I'm finishing The Journey, which is my webtoon published by Webtoon Factory app. It's the story of a girl that has to overcome 3 different challenges in a multiverse. It's an adventure story.
Sí, tengo un proyecto en marcha, es la continuación de una de mis series. Bueno, en realidad no tengo ninguna de las 3 series terminadas, así que siempre estoy trabajando en lo que sigue durante el año. Y ahora estoy trabajando en el nuevo tomo que se va a publicar en unos meses más, de Maestro Gato, colección en color.
¿Tiene algún proyecto en marcha?
Actualmente sí que tengo un proyecto en marcha y en cuanto acabe con este que es con el que estoy trabajando actualmente, tengo otros para poder hacer. Lo único que ahora con el trabajo, la verdad que no tengo tanto tiempo como me gustaría dedicarle, pero bueno, poco a poco los voy sacando adelante.
I'm currently working on a non-fictional picture book on rainbows. It's really fun yet challenging since I need to draw all the different types of rainbows and light phenomena as accurate as possible, and yet also use my own unique style to depict them.
My advice for people wanting to work in the arts is always just go for it. Don't think about it too much and don't worry about any insecurities or feeling self-conscious, because we all have that. As long as you just start, you'll already be improving. And even if things don't look that good to begin with, if you just keep on going, you'll get there and you'll be happier and happier with what you're doing and the fact that you're doing it.
Don't compare to others, especially don't do it with others that they have been in the field, in the professional niche since ages ago. People that are older than you, more successful at the moment. Just take your path, enjoy the process, and keep it real. And of course, it doesn't matter how dark the moment is and how confusion it could be, just never quit and keep committed to your goal, your dream.
My advice, if you want to be a YouTuber or do content, would be your foundation level, you have to really love making content. Because when it gets tough, that's the first thing to go. You don't care about making content, you have to care about making content. If you're an artist or animator, it would be to always find a way to feed your creative soul. Whether you're working for someone else, at the end of the day, creativity is our fuel. So you have to watch stuff that you care about and are inspired by. You have to use tools that allow you to feel uninhibited and free and creative. Always feed your creative soul. That's it, that's our 9 questions. Happy anniversary, Huion.
¿Dónde le viene la pasión por crear?
Mi pasión creativa proviene principalmente de inspiraciones por ciertas sagas, como bien es por ejemplo The Legend of Zelda o The Witcher, que son sagas que para mí son referentes dentro del mundo de los videojuegos y principales medios de inspiración a la hora de realizar nuevas piezas artísticas.
My advice would be try to be more objective on your work and less overthink. I think to be a freelance illustrator, we always spending time with ourselves and can be easily overthink. I know lots of people, including me, who always think that they are not good enough, and there are just so many people can draw really well than me. I think all of this might be true, but these thoughts will only stop you from making the next move. You might be not as good as some of the experienced illustrators at this moment, but the only way to be better is to keep drawing, keep learning, and keep practicing.
My passion for creating comes from everyday experiences, mainly that happen when I'm in the street, when I go to galleries, when I travel. Me and Katie, we love traveling, go traveling together and discover different visual cultures. There is something very enjoyable even in going to a foreign supermarket and seeing how the graphic design is applied there. When we're in Asia, how much they use cards everywhere. You can see them in the street, you can see them in the public transport. And all of those things have been informing a lot of how we make our cards.
My biggest passion is telling stories through pictures. I love the idea of taking the reader to a new world, a new atmosphere, and hopefully and making him feel some inspiration after the reading experience.
I think it's just the process itself. Like when I start with a blank canvas or when I open up Photoshop and it's empty and I give myself parameters or a challenge or a time limit or something and produce something as a result, a lot of the time I've challenged myself in a way that I push my abilities and I'm really happy with the result. And it's that experience of those boundaries and the effort and the outcome that makes it really addictive.
Grabando pregunta número 8.
¿Qué objetivos y ambiciones tienes para tu futuro trabajo?
Para mi futuro trabajo yo creo que una de las principales aspiraciones que tengo es el poder crecer dentro de la industria del videojuego, el poder ganar una mayor experiencia, así como el poder realizar una gran cantidad de trabajos que me vayan a aportar a nivel personal un mayor nivel a nivel artístico. De igual forma yo creo que una de mis mayores aspiraciones, pero desde que era pequeño, es el poder trabajar para algún tipo de empresa grande como bien es principalmente Nintendo, debido a que sus videojuegos han sido mi principal inspiración desde que era pequeño para poder introducirme dentro del sector y la industria del videojuego.
I'd love to draw the environment around us, the landscapes, trees, nature, as well as architectures, interior spaces. These are my passions for creating.
For me, one of the biggest challenges I face as a creative is at the same time having to learn new technology, but keeping it connected to something artistic and something interesting. It's very easy for me to get blinded by the new gadgets and to forget that they should be helping you to make more beautiful art.
Probably the biggest challenge I find is having the willpower and the motivation to keep pushing and making different things all the time. I think that especially working commercially, it can become easy to fall into a repetition because usually people want to employ you for what they've seen before. So you need to be the one to push and make new things and make a change.
Time. It's just because I'm pulled in so many different directions, but that's because I keep starting so many projects. But back in the day, it was money. And it's often one of those two things. And now that money is there for us to run the studio and do exciting creative projects, it's time.
Grabando pregunta 9.
Si pudiera colaborar con cualquier persona del mundo, ¿quién sería?
Yo creo que la persona con la que más estaría dispuesto a colaborar dentro del mundo de los videojuegos sería Huion, que es el actual director de la saga de Zelda, y me encantaría participar en alguno de sus proyectos.
To me, one of the biggest challenges is keeping creative and reaching the quality I want within a deadline. Sometimes my creative ambitions for a project gets me in trouble in that regard, but pushing the creative boundaries is to me a key for evolving as an artist.
I would really love for our studio to keep pushing more into the physical realm. We do a lot of work digitally right now on the computer screen, and it's so exciting seeing it brought to life physically as well, so that you get a different type of interaction with the audience. And I would really like to push more, make more exhibitions. We've made several giant characters, some tiny characters, stop motion pieces, and that really motivates me right now.
I love to work on a different story this time, and I'm thinking and creating already some dystopian world that I want to portray in a new comic book. That will be my closest ambition at the moment.
What are some goals and ambitions you have for your future work? Since I started on the graphic design side of things, I don't have a formal education in illustration, and that's something that I've been working on and I've been getting better at and really developing those skills over time. I've also really gotten into Blender and 3D animation and rendering lately.
Grabando pregunta número 10.
¿Tiene algún consejo para otras personas que aspiren a trabajar en su campo?
El consejo que le daría a todo el mundo que se quisiese dedicar al mundo de las artes digitales es principalmente el practicar. No hay ningún tipo de misterio ni secreto oculto dentro de el llegar a ser un mejor artista o el poder crear piezas artísticas con las que estés verdaderamente satisfecho. El practicar y día a día es el único misterio que hay. el tener motivaciones personales, es decir, juegos que te gusten, películas o sagas que verdaderamente te motiven, de las cuales coger referencias. Yo creo que es una de las principales cosas que hay que tener en cuenta a la hora de realizar tus propios trabajos y que verdaderamente te vayan a gustar a la hora de hacerlos. Y otra de las cosas que también habría que tener en cuenta es el poder contar con gente de la industria o dentro del propio sector con la que puedas tener algún tipo de relación o que te puedan dar correcciones sobre ciertos trabajos a la hora de realizarlos, debido a que ellos cuentan con la experiencia y gracias a ello ellos van a poder ver, digamos que van a poder ver errores en tus trabajos que tú no vas a poder ver, y por ello mismo vas a poder trabajar sobre ellos día a día.
One of my more general goal is to just keep trying to step into different realms of illustration. I love working with editorial assignments, which is my original goal for my career. Then somehow I got some chances to do some picture books and then some commercials. And I really enjoy the different process of problem solving by using visual languages. I guess I like challenges in general, and I'm just really fascinated by all different types of illustrations.
I love to collaborate one day with Hayao Miyazaki or with Master Katsuhiro Otomo one day. Of course it's a fantasy, but they are one of my biggest influences.
Grabando, pregunta número 11.
¿Cuáles son los mayores retos a los que se enfrenta al trabajar como creativo?
El mayor reto al que siempre me enfrento cada vez que empiezo una nueva pieza de arte o una nueva ilustración es siempre el plantear una idea desde cero, es decir, cómo abordar la idea para que lo que tú tienes en la cabeza se refleje en la ilustración o el dibujo final con el que vas a acabar. Es por ello que es, como bien vengo diciendo, es muy importante el contar con una gran cantidad de referencias, ya sea de películas, videojuegos, juegos de mesa, libros de arte, cualquier cosa que vaya a aportar a tu biblioteca interna, es decir, a tu biblioteca mental, todas las referencias que tengas tú en tu cabeza, es bienvenida a la hora de poder crear o abordar un nuevo tipo de dibujo o ilustración.
If you could collaborate with any person in the world, who would it be? There's a cartoonist. He doesn't live that far from me. He's only about an hour away, but he's kind of reclusive. His name is Bill Watterson, and in the 80s and 90s, he created a comic strip called Calvin and Hobbes. When I was a kid, everybody would get a different section of the newspaper, and I always grabbed the comic section, and I loved his comic strips. And since he's kind of local, I've always wanted to meet him and work with him, or at least do an interview that I can publish on YouTube. That would be epic.
I first heard of Huion when they contacted us. I had seen some of their tablets around, but I hadn't tried one, and they sent us one tablet and we really liked it. Since then, they've been improving. One of the things I always had with tablets is how much would annoy me to connect a lot of cables. And since we moved to USB-C, it's been a pleasure to have all through one cable, and to have that plug and play experience is being life-changing.
When I was 26 years old, I was a teacher in Estación Diseño, and the first time I saw a Huion was actually because my student Marina came with one, and at the moment I was a traditional artist. I work mainly in paper and ink, and for me it was quite a revelation.
What are your thoughts about Huion? When I started my YouTube channel, Huion was the first company that sent me a product to review on my channel. It's just amazing how far the company has come and what they're doing now with these 2.5K displays, 4K displays, and all the other stuff that they're starting to pack into their graphics tablets.
I first heard about Huion about a year before they sponsored my videos. At the time, loyal to a different brand of product. Then when I tried Huion, I was like, okay, this is really cool. That was my initial impression. It was good quality and it was way more affordable, and that's just immensely grown over time.
La primera vez que supe de la existencia de la marca de Huion fue hace unos 6 años, cuando fui a comprar mi primera tableta gráfica con pantalla. Entonces, como era una tableta gráfica con pantalla, los chicos de la tienda me regalaron el guante, que es este de 2 dedos que se usan en las tabletas con pantalla para que la mano no moleste, no se quede pegada. Es que a algunas personas les pasa eso. Entonces el guante era de la marca de Huion. No es este mismo guante porque fue hace 6 años, así que lo tengo guardado por ahí. Y también ese mismo año me compré una tableta de luz, de esas que son para trabajar en tradicional, para poder pasar en limpio un dibujo. Y esa tableta también es de Huion.
Pregunta 12.
¿Cuándo y dónde oíste hablar por primera vez de Huion?
La primera vez que oí hablar de Huion fue en 2015-2016, cuando mi padre me compró mi primera tableta digital, una Huion, y con la cual empecé a dedicarme en el mundo de las artes digitales.
I first heard of Huion when I was still back in US, and me and some of my illustrator friends were talking about what kind of tablets are they using for drawing. And I found out that lots of them used Huion products. And over the years I learned that Huion is a company based in China, and I'm Chinese, so I became really interested and eventually got a chance to try it out.